and welcome to the Vampire Diaries After Show here on theStreamtv. Guys, we're a little bit of hot messes today.
Just a bit.
You're just gonna have to deal with us, but I promise you it's going to be such a fun episode. So if you guys kind of noticed when the camera flashed all of us, in honor of Halloween, we are channeling our inner Vampire Diary characters. And I am Caroline, you guys. Hey, what's going on? I'm so perky like all the time. But every other day, I am your host, Megan Lamontagne, and to my left,
Hey guys, Jessica Hickam here, or should I say Elena tonight? I've got
Girl.
the pink streaks going on.
you are working it. I love it. And over here to my right,
Hi guys, Melinda or Bonnie. This wig is really, really tight.
when she walked in, I literally thought it was Bonnie because I'm not used to seeing her hair like that. And I was like, oh my, we literally are channeling these characters. And last but not least,
Ow!
Hi guys, I'm Catherine.
Oh.
I'm having a lot of trouble talking with this.
I gave up. I gave up on the teeth.
In real life, I'm Rachel Brolin, and I'm having fun playing tonight.
oh my gosh, we are gonna have so much fun. I'm so excited. And tonight's episode was amazing. It was so good. This was the episode I needed for season 6 because I'm not gonna lie, I feel like it's been a little bit slow and I've been kind of like, it's been like a roller coaster ride going up that hill, and tonight we started to come back down the hill and it's getting really thrilling. But we're gonna start off tonight with Ivy because Ivy created quite the domino effect for the entire episode, starting off snapping my neck. Caroline's neck. So, okay, we need to talk about that scene when they were in the bedroom because they seemed very friendly, like they were friends, and then all of a sudden,
Well,
bam.
Caroline was not into
She
it.
was
not.
not. She was mad at Stefan for even bringing her there in the first place, but you know.
Well, I feel like they totally tricked us with last week's preview. Like it made it look like they were gonna become besties, and I was
Yeah,
like,
we
no.
were all like frenemies with Elena.
Exactly.
Right.
But what happened between Ivy sleeping with Stefan and Ivy becoming like total crazy
Brat.
monster? Like I know she's a vampire now, but like
she got evil.
She was-
like,
she
She was
evil.
already kind of bratty because remember in the very first episode when they introduced her, she was like, "Tell me about your whole life. Tell me everything."
She
And I
just
feel like that was
seems-
just exaggerated
well,
when she became a vampire.
She seemed
Yeah.
needy
Yeah,
in the beginning,
needy,
but now
yeah.
she's just like really
She seems
mean.
mean
like
and bratty.
Yeah.
And she's I'm not a fan of her character. However, what I was a fan of, her asking Caroline about Stefan. I thought it was so funny how, well, granted it's all the writers. I'm thinking
Right,
that I'm
of
talking like they're
course.
real people. But that she noticed
They're
that
not?
there's chemistry.
especially
I know.
not knowing Caroline, just coming into the situation, seeing that interaction with them for that 2 seconds, where Stefan brought.
But how awkward for all of them
right.
because Ivy is obviously sleeping with Stefan
Right.
and she noticed that there's chemistry between Stefan and Caroline. But I'm loving that they add that in every episode because
I feel
we all
like they're setting it up. Like, as who was saying that something about they're not gonna do it, they're not gonna do it.
I think they're gonna
Please,
do it.
somebody ship Caroline and Stefan.
Yes.
I'm
There's
shipping.
plenty of shippers.
I'm shipping.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so well. Okay, I'm a little bit Caroline. If Klaus and Caroline, if
Oh, yes,
Klaus ever
yes.
comes back, it's all over.
Right.
But if he doesn't, then
He's
Stefan
busy
all
in the
way.
originals.
Right.
Stefan all the way.
Especially, I think Stefan really needs Caroline right now. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. But Stefan, we could just see throughout this whole episode, he's lost. And he even told Caroline he's running away.
Right.
He's lost, but he might be found.
He's
now.
lost, but he might be. We'll get into that a little bit later.
Caroline also is the one that's never given up on Stefan through
Yes.
all of his
Well,
drama
she-
and everything,
Yes.
I would say she did.
When?
Last episode
When she
they
poured
had-
out her heart.
Or I mean, not last episode, but when she poured out her heart to him, I think it was 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
True, but we saw in this episode that she'll clearly still
Yeah.
do anything for him if she's babysitting
she
his
didn't really have a
love
choice.
interest.
Blind. We
She
are
didn't really have a
blinded by
choice
love.
tonight.
That's true,
He was
but I
kind
think
of
she
like,
would still
I need
have
a
done it
favor.
anyway.
I need a
think she would have
favor.
done it anyway.
And she-
Yeah, but I hear you.
Do we think that Ivy is going to blow this entire vampire cover out of the water because she's not being careful? She's not following Caroline's instructions clearly because she killed the poor girl. And then we saw at the end of the episode that Tripp ends up finding her and
Yeah.
taking her, and Caroline sees. So it's just this huge, massive, yes.
She is like our Catherine right now, but uncool. Like,
But
does that make
uncool.
sense? Like, literally, like,
Yeah.
Catherine was all, awesome, and, she was always
Right.
causing problems, and we were worried that she was gonna, blow the cap somehow. Ivy's doing that in a really boring way.
But
Well,
I
you know
think
what
the
you-
cover's already been blown this season, right? I
Absolutely.
mean, we think Liam knows something.
He was given some love.
Tripp, obviously,
Tripp,
because he has this
obviously,
little operation
the nurse,
running.
the doctor that Alaric is with, like everybody knows. It's
Right.
just like nobody.
You know who she
nobody's
reminds
admitting
me of,
that they know.
though?
The
Ivy,
doctor? Or
Ivy reminds me of Vicky. Because remember when Vicky turned vampire, she was very, very like
Speaking of-
impulsive.
You and your memory
and-
over here.
I
She
know.
has the greatest
but
memory.
she was like really just like. They couldn't control her at all. So
Yeah.
that's
Which
kind
is
of
why
what
they
which
killed
why they
her.
killed her.
When you
So I
said
think-
Vicky, it reminded me of Matt. And we didn't see Matt at all this episode.
know.
They keep taking out
And he
characters.
had such a cute moment last week when he was with Enzo, when he was like,
Yeah, right.
like,
It
what
was so
happened?
genuine.
I loved it.
Oh my gosh, yes, oh my gosh.
we
There was
don't
so
know
much
what
that
happened.
happened this episode that I
Right.
completely forgot we didn't even
Right.
see
It
Matt
was
and
such
Enzo.
a good episode. But
This
It
was
was
because
really
we
good.
talked way
There's-
too soon. We were like, we just feel like they're lacking a little bit.
Yeah.
And then boom, they hit us.
That's what we needed. Okay, so Ivy created this domino effect, and part of the domino effect was her sucking the blood of someone who couldn't be compelled because she didn't learn how to compel, which ended up making him stagger out in the middle of the road, and then Tyler hits him. He gets stuck to the car. Tyler hits his head on the wheel, blacks out, and goes plowing through the corn maze. And this incident just erupted into mass chaos. So let's talk about the corn maze incident and where we think Tyler is at. Because I was thinking, you had mentioned, Melinda, right away, oh my gosh, he's going to be a werewolf again because
for
he's
sure. Yeah.
killed
Sure, right.
this guy. But then obviously a huge turn of events. So let's just talk about it for a second. There was a lot going on. Any specific moments that stuck out to you?
A couple things.
Okay.
One with Elena saving that girl.
Yes.
But Liam had this weird reaction, like, Elena, get over here now.
He did.
Kind
He,
of
like-
like he knew,
knew.
that
Yeah.
she could save her. You know, like he knows she's a vampire.
And I feel
so
like when he was asking her like about her past relationships, I think he knew maybe that like Damon was her past relationship because he was like, oh, some jerk dumped you. She's like, no, he died. And I think there was more to like.
No, I think he thought it was
fishing.
Stefan.
He thought it was-
Oh,
yeah,
Stefan.
yeah.
And then
okay.
she said Damon. Then he seemed to loosen up a bit and be like, oh, because he doesn't know who
But
Damon is.
he clearly like knows.
knows.
There's something
He
that
knows
he
more
knows
than
about
he's
that
letting on.
history.
Yes,
Speaking
we're going
of
to talk more about
knowing, can
Liam
I-
later. So we'll talk. Go ahead.
I want to jump to.
Yes.
We haven't figured out the doctor's name. Or
Joe.
Joe.
Joe, it is
Okay,
Joe,
Joe.
yeah.
Okay. So Joe and Alaric, which I love Alaric. Like, he's still in my heart, sweetheart. But she, like, the way she was interacting with him, like, are you doing okay? Like, at first we thought that she was just being nice, but she was kind of like overly checking. And then when she wasn't compelled, I'm like, she knows something. And she's drinking Vervain, like, because he couldn't compel her, right?
What was the name of
Something has
Tori
to do with that.
DeVito's character? She was on a couple.
Meredith fell.
Meredith.
Right.
She's like Meredith all over again.
It is
It's
exactly
like
the
totally
same
Meredith.
it's the same
Like I bet
character.
she's feeding people blood.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So another person that I wasn't too thrilled with their character was Liv. But Liv and Tyler and their relationship totally won
Changed,
me
right.
over.
Love it.
Won me over. And
It was so good.
Yeah,
oh my
It was
gosh.
so good.
We all
amazing.
hated her.
We did, and she did the most selfless thing.
Oh my
it was
goodness.
beautiful.
So
It
at
was.
first I thought when she was doing her little like witchy thing, I thought she was bringing him back to life. The guy, we never learned his name, right? Just random stranger.
a
on the
random-
street. I thought she was bringing him back to life, but then we were like, oh no, she's killing him. And then we were like, oh, she's killing him. That way Tyler doesn't have to. Oh, it's
Okay, but
amazing.
I love it of that, like, they set up that little scene in the, like, classroom or whatever when he was like, do you want to hang out? And she was like, definitely not.
There
And
was
then I
so
was
much
like, oh, she's
tension.
being strong and, like,
Right.
she's not going to date him. She doesn't like him. And then that moment I was like, you go, girl.
Yes. Oh my God. It was so. Oh my God. I don't know. I feel like my.
I changed my opinion about her.
Yeah.
Isn't
It
it so funny how
changed.
like within the span of one scene we're like, oh wait, okay.
Way to
Yeah.
go, writers.
Let's
Way
do
to
it.
go.
Right.
Yeah.
They did
Good
something
job.
right
They
there.
did.
They did. What do we think is going to happen in coming episodes with those two?
Well, that's another thing is that I've always felt like Tyler was kind of douchey. No
Yes,
offense, dude.
yeah.
but you definitely
No,
come off
totally.
a little bit douchey.
Totally.
Right,
Definitely.
right.
Like, it's just kind of like you don't really like him, but he's there and you need him. And this was the first time, like, when he was, like, genuinely saying, I could never repay you, I was like, ooh, maybe a little crush there.
And what I'm noticing.
I'm like, "Ugh, maybe he sold me a little bit. But Liv sold me more
Yeah.
than Tyler
Yes.
did. Like
Yes.
I still don't really like Tyler, but now I think going forward, I'm more willing to give them a chance. Like I
Because
kind
they
of
were so
hope.
genuine.
Well, you
Exactly,
gotta
they
remember
were so
though, when
genuine.
him and Caroline got together, it was kind of the same situation. Like she helped him with the situation, and then they ended up falling in love and being together. So it could happen with him and Liv.
As we're talking about this, I'm realizing there's so much transitioning with love interest. Okay, so we have Tyler and Liv, we have Caroline and Stefan, if you want
Yes.
to talk about it.
Yes.
We have Elena and Liam, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
And Alaric and Jo.
Alaric and Jo. Yeah, there's all this like transitioning that's
Right.
going on.
It's about to take a huge shift, I feel like, with Damon coming back.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be like hurricane. Whoa.
Did anyone else cry this episode?
Yes.
Oh, like
we were like a mess.
We were tearing up a little bit. That ending. Oh, okay, we can't get into it yet. We can't get into it yet. We're gonna save that for later because that's
coming.
big. It's coming.
coming.
Save the best for
Yes.
last, right? So we're gonna transition right now to the other realm and talk about Damon and Bonnie. So much happened, and yet again, Bonnie is always sacrificing herself for someone else, and especially Damon this time around.
Right.
So, man,
Well,
Bonnie
first-
girl, take it
Bonnie,
away.
right, Bonnie's gonna take it away. Well, first, Bonnie,
Yes.
killed Kai. We were like, yes, he's dead,
excited.
and then
Finally.
he wasn't. And then he wasn't. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, in one hand, it's like this very like loyal thing that she has that she always wants to put people before her, but then it's getting a little bit old because like she's always like
always
left.
doing
I
it.
miss
She's
seeing,
always left.
I miss seeing Bonnie interact with Caroline and Elena.
Yes.
And she hasn't been with them for seasons.
Yeah.
For seasons.
Right.
She needs. The girl deserves to be back
Maybe
with her
her
friends.
music career, could it be that her music career
I was
is
literally,
like
I was
Kat,
literally
right?
just
Maybe.
going to say that.
Right.
But I'm like, does she get moody of like she doesn't want to be on the show, and then she comes back and she's like, okay, throw me back in, and then she doesn't make up her mind because I'm like, is this the writers or her?
Right.
Because it
right.
used to be so great, like back in the day when you had like all those interactions. And
Yeah.
remember when she was still with Stefan and he like brought all the friends over so they could have the sleepover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was
that was
so
adorable.
good.
Yeah.
That
it
was adorable.
so good.
Yeah.
Like we need that again.
We
Yes.
do.
And
We need the crew
especially in
back
college,
together.
they need to be roomies and go
Right.
to parties.
Right.
I'm ready for it.
Me too. Why? Maybe I missed this. Why didn't Kai die? Was that because they were already technically in a purgatory?
We
don't
thought
think
about
we
that.
know.
Yeah.
We were wondering of like, okay, was it that you're already dead so you can't die? Because she had that moment where she threw it, and then we were all dying in that moment where he was like, Bonnie.
Yeah.
Didn't
love
Damon
Damon's
was like,
like,
Bonnie?
Yeah.
Bonnie, what are you doing? It was a perfect
It was
line and
great.
probably the line that made my
Of the night,
Yeah.
yes.
Right.
But I think what it is exactly what we were talking about, that they can't die because they're already in their hell.
But didn't Damon, when he threw the arrow at Bonnie when Kai came back, didn't he give her his blood? To revive her? Was I the only one that saw that?
Girl, you catch a lot of
so
things that you
good.
don't
She's
see.
like,
She's always
On
on top of it.
another
We're like
level.
doing our makeup and hair while
Well,
we're
no, but I
watching.
thought that. I mean, maybe I made this up in my mind, but I really thought that Damon like bit himself and gave Bonnie blood after Kai shot the arrow.
Okay,
into her.
maybe.
And here's my other question.
It was
How
all
is
dark. It was a
Damon
dark
getting
scene.
blood? I've wondered that since they were in the other side. Where is he getting his blood from?
I don't know.
Because
I don't- maybe he
They
doesn't
remember
need
like
it.
when they first showed up there, they had him like drinking blood bags from the
Okay, so-
from there. So
From
he
the
was drinking
hospital or
blood
something,
blood
probably.
bags.
he's
Okay.
like got his stash somewhere.
Yeah. Okay.
And just before we move on, what do we think is going to happen to Bonnie now? I mean, she's in the other realm
With Kai.
with Kai. That's not over. Is Bonnie gonna come back?
Does the device work more than once? Or
Yes.
It looked like it was broken though.
Well, I also
Yeah.
felt like you brought up a really good point when we were watching it, and we were like, she kept saying we were talking about a new villain, and we were like, okay, is it Ty or that Chip guy? I mean, that Chip guy or whatever.
Tripp.
Chip
guy. Mess.
Stripper guy.
No, what I'm saying is that maybe he is still the new villain, and that's what's gonna happen is Bonnie's gonna come back, and she's gonna bring him back, and
She's
it's
gonna
gonna
have
like,
to.
Back together.
yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
I'm thinking it's either him that's a new villain or Liam. So let's go back to Liam for a second. Is Liam more than just a pretty face?
Well, he's not really a pretty face.
Yes. Say it again.
He ain't that pretty.
It literally makes me sick to see. I can't believe Elena kissed him.
Oh, I thought
But she was about that.
Right.
She
Yeah.
was all about
And the
that.
fact
Right.
that she was so aggressively flirting with him that she was like, we'll see who my date is tonight. And I'm like, girl.
But then she
Right.
had that whole moment where they were talking about past relationships, and she was like, I don't want to go there. And then she just jumps him.
Right.
Do you
I
think
just-
she knows something? He knows something. Do
He
you think she knows
definitely knows
something and
something.
she's trying to?
No, I feel like she's PMSing and can't make up her mind.
You're so funny.
I just.
No, I really think that Elena is just a different person. I do. I know. You're crazy.
so funny.
I think she's just a different person.
She's a different
She's
person.
all over the place. This girl
She
does
is.
not
I
know
keep
what
saying,
she wants.
I think this is like becoming my trademark for the season. How many guys does Elena need?
Right.
Like really?
She's
Come
gone through
on.
everybody
Everybody.
except Tyler.
Like, at
Oh, yeah,
least
except for
if
Taylor.
you're gonna be a slut puppy, go back to some of the old ones, girl.
I wouldn't say she's a slut puppy, but I just think like they're constantly throwing these new men at her, and like, and now
I feel like he's important though. I feel like they
think
wouldn't throw.
he's gotta
like,
be.
He's gonna
wouldn't throw a
make
random
a-
love interest
yeah.
in with our main girl unless he had some serious
Absolutely,
twists
he's going to
with
be a
his character.
huge part in this season. I
So
feel
do we
like.
think that
yeah.
he is going to be the new villain? And if so, what kind of
What if
villain?
he's
think it'd be
working with
with
Tripp?
Tripp,
He's just
absolutely.
at the college.
That's true.
Right.
That's
Because
true.
remember he was hardcore questioning her of like, how did you save that girl? Like blah blah blah, and was like all up in her business of her not being a good doctor student.
yeah.
Or maybe he's working with Jo.
I was
because they're
thinking
met-
Tripp, Jo, and Liam maybe have
that
a
would
little
be a
thing going on.
huge mind blow
Right.
if Jo was really on the dark side. And poor Alaric, that would break my
Yeah,
heart.
that
He
would.
deserves
I don't think
someone
so.
great.
Yeah.
You don't
I
think
don't
she's
so.
more like
think
Meredith?
so. She
You
needs
think
to
she's
be
more like
good.
Meredith?
I
Bell?
do. I think she's definitely in on something, but it would just Alaric's already going through so much.
Yeah.
It would
He
be, like,
needs
totally
something.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think she's just aware of it, working in the hospital, and she was drinking vervain, and that's why she wasn't compelled.
Or maybe she's working with Tripp and she just doesn't realize that she's working for the bad side.
Yeah.
There's
I
a
mean,
lot
that's
of
true.
theories, yeah.
There's so many theories,
Yeah.
and I'm loving all the theories.
Right,
And we will, I guess, see when we keep watching every week. But another heartbreaking moment, but a good heartbreak, was Damon reuniting with Stefan, because we were really seeing Stefan fall off a cliff. He was just the pieces
all over
were
the place.
falling apart, and then I knew when he was kind of going through that monologue at the end. I'm like, Damon's gonna show up.
Yeah.
Damon's
Right,
gonna
right,
show
right.
up.
Good, he got
And he did. We were like,
here he comes.
Oh my
Can we
gosh.
just do like a happy dance?
Yes. Happy
He's
dance
back.
for Damon and
He's
Stefan.
back.
It's so nice to see that they can have a lot of conflict, but at the end of the day, they are brothers and they love each
Right.
other. And even with everything with Elena, and they both loved her, they're still brothers, and they're just, they're for each other until the end.
Yeah.
And it's
Okay,
so
but-
interesting that he went to Stefan before
For
Elena.
Elena.
Yes,
Well,
and that's what I was going to say.
family
Speaking of
first,
Elena,
yeah.
we will see how this goes.
And
with,
Yes.
he was talking to Bonnie already. He was already like, the first thing I do,
yep.
I'm taking her out. Like, it's gonna be amazing. But then in the end, when it came to it, like, he went home and he went and saw his brother.
Family
and
first.
it's
yeah.
so good.
And Stefan's face, like when he saw him, it was heartbreaking. I loved it.
We
Yes.
were
It was great.
we were
We were
sitting
so
on the edge of our
crying.
seats. We were like, there were some tears. There were some
Right,
tears
yes,
with us.
absolutely.
Guys, I am
Love it.
still swearing by that it's going to be my first when I had my theory of that she's not going to read the diaries. She's going to fall in love with him all over again.
Oh,
You think she's gonna fall in love with
Team
Damon?
Yes.
I think she's gonna be totally resistant at first, though.
And then she's going to fall
I
in
think
love
she's
with
gonna
him
be
all
like,
over
there's
again.
a reason why I chose to forget you, and like I'm moving on now, and I've got this like hot new med school guy.
He's not hot.
Okay, whatever. Well, they're playing him off to be,
I'm still Team Stefan.
Yeah.
randomly coming in with
I will always be Team Stefan.
But even tonight with Damon's cute little one-liners here and there, he was funny tonight, guys. I mean,
Yes.
he's usually funny, but
That
he just
doesn't mean Elena
he
should be
breaks
in
the
love with him.
tension.
He does. Bonnie.
Bonnie.
Like,
Bonnie.
Oh, he's hilarious.
There were a couple of real moments in tonight's episode, though. When Liv was on the phone with Jo, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, no, it's black. There's black coming out of his
Yeah.
nose." And then she said, "What do I do next?" And
hold
Jo
his-
just said, "Just hold his hand. It won't be long now." I was like,
Yeah.
It was so good.
was intense.
Yeah.
It
It was,
was.
the
It
whole
was.
episode was just full of those awesome moments that like the writers just must be so proud.
Yeah, because we're
Right,
usually
right.
okay. Just a little inside scoop on us. We're like doing our makeup, we're writing questions, we're like doing all this stuff. When we can't be ADD in an episode, you know it's good. Because
Yes.
we're like, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
So that moment, and also the Damon and Stefan hug, was another real moment. So I really, really enjoyed tonight's episode. I'm very excited for next week. And I'm also super excited to get to all of your questions. All of you that are viewing right now, make sure you write us either on YouTube or using the hashtag TVDAS, and we'll be right back with your questions.
Just in case you missed it live.
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 In case you missed it live, I'm not fake, I'm so real, okay?
Hey, who's excited?
She's a little superhero slut because she's so. I just pissed everybody off.
She's like such a glamazon.
Join the writer's team because you are hot.
And I loved it.
That is like tension beyond belief. I found her to be deliciously out of control.
We were all just looked at each other, just like, ah.
So we can assume that you've written letters to inmates before.
Give me the diamonds. I need them for my wife.
Take charge and kill everyone.
This Holocaust coffin!
You were agreeing with me, so I think it was a great point.
You know, you can't count anything out.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Oh my God.
What's your shoe size? My size.
Well, that was pretty awesome.
Oh my God.
Totally.
Hello, my lovely vampire people out there. I was like trying to think of something to say. I'm like, oh, no, it's not working out. Okay, so we are going to take your fan questions. Thank you so much for writing in. So our first fan question comes from Puppy Girl. Just wondering, this is interesting. This is an interesting question. Just wondering if you think that there might be a Tyler and Elena relationship because of her forgotten love. This is an interesting question because we were just talking about Elena and all the guys she has to have. Like,
And Tyler's the only one she hasn't been with.
I'm sorry,
You're having teeth issues.
The teeth, I love it. They are, look how cute they are. So amazing.
We're having way too much fun.
Up close. There we go. I love it. Before they fall out again.
Right.
Okay.
So
Fall out.
do we think that there's any possibility for Tyler and Elena?
I can't imagine how or
That
where
would be
it would
weird.
come up.
That would be
because
weird.
It would be very odd. I think it'd be a really big stretch
Well,
for the
I was
writers to try to fix it.
I was gonna
that
say
way.
it'd be against girl code because Tyler was Caroline's love interest.
No,
but
you can't go into
you can't
girl
do
code
that.
because
You can't
brother code. Come
brother
on,
code.
Damon
and then
stole.
also Caroline like Stefan now, and they were
Right.
so yeah,
No,
girl
there's
code
no
doesn't
codes in this.
exist in Vampire Diaries.
Does Elena even like Tyler? I guess like
They're
we've never
friends.
we don't
interact.
see them
They don't have
interact
scenes
a lot.
Yeah, they
together.
don't have many scenes.
Maybe
Yeah.
they're like keeping it open just in case.
Yeah, they're maybe. So
Right.
I like where your head's at because it's an option. So thank
Yes.
you so much for the question. Our next question comes from @Tiffers. How will Damon and Bonnie get back to present day? Thank you for your question. So we did see that Damon is now back in the present time, which, you know, now that I think about it, now that I think about it, and I may have missed something, but maybe I might be a little disappointed with the writers because they never really went back on May 10th, 1994.
It's not done yet.
It's not done?
Because
No.
Bonnie's still there.
Yeah, but that was Damon's hell, and he's back now. So,
So why is
Well, it was
Bonnie
because
there?
he killed all those people. That was the date thing, right?
yeah, I just felt like maybe,
I
yeah.
thought that it was
They both killed
Kai's
those
hell,
people.
but I
They
thought we
both
hadn't
killed those
confirmed.
people on
well, I
that
thought
day.
the whole thing was that it was the date that Kai killed people, and it just
But what
was
it-
coincidentally like
I was just
another
gonna say, what does that
bad-
have to do with Damon and Bonnie?
I don't think it.
Well, Damon killed the Salvatore's
I thought,
that
yeah.
day, that same
I thought
day.
our theory was that the Gemini Coven was ran by Bonnie's grandmother, who created
Yes.
that purgatory for Kai, and so
And
now,
Yeah.
now
Well, yes,
that-
because we discovered
and
that
then
the
Bonnie's grandma also just transferred Bonnie and Damon back once
Well,
they.
the reason they said in this episode
limbo.
that
He
the
needed a Bennett.
Bennett created the spell that put him there. That's why he
right.
needed Bonnie.
So I
Right.
think it was just like an easy out for Bonnie to say, or for Bonnie's grandmother to save Bonnie, and then Damon just got dragged on for the ride. That's my understanding, is that it just kind of like happened to be the same place because she was trying to save their life.
Makes sense.
Oh, my head hurts. Okay.
So complicated.
I just like it when it's simple. Okay, moving on to our next fan question. This one comes from @TVD_DelanaFan. Question is, what do you guys think is going to happen to Enzo, and do you think Matt is going to help him, and how?
Matt has to. He needs
Yes.
purpose.
He's going to. After
Yeah.
his cute little moment last week
Yeah.
of
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what Tripp's plan is, though. That's what I want to know. Like, why are you keeping Enzo captive?
And
like,
is he
what
an
do you-
official hunter? I don't think he is,
He's
right?
not a
Because-
hunter. He's just a founding member that wants the vampires
but,
gone. Yeah.
But has he like officially met Jeremy? Because they would see each other's tattoos,
But
right?
I don't think Tripp's a hunter.
Okay.
No,
but
yeah.
I think he's just one of the founding
he's
family
just
members.
hunting.
Because you know how the council
I wanna
before,
know
the
his-
council is the ones that always want to get rid of the vampires.
Right,
So
of
I think
course.
he's just one of those people.
and he has his personal like thing with Enzo because last week he said something about like he's the one that killed my wife and
Yeah.
all of that,
Right.
and that's why he wants to keep him alive and torture him. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I definitely think Matt and Enzo are going to become two peas in a pod. They're going to be the new bromance, I
Yes.
think. Matt, because you need to stick Matt somewhere.
Yeah.
We
gotta do something with that bromance.
He always needs to go
Right.
somewhere. And so now we have a live fan question. This one comes from Jenna Powell, and she asked, which is a great question, how do you think Elena will react when she sees Damon and vice versa?
I think Damon's gonna be like, let's get it on.
He's gonna be like,
and then
"Damn,
Elena's
Damon."
gonna be like, ew. And
I know.
It's gonna be so
amazing.
good. It's going to be so good.
Right.
Or do we think because he stopped by to see Stefan first, Stefan's gonna spill beans?
And I think Damon's
Oh,
gonna go back
shoot.
to his best friend Alaric and be like, you need to uncompel her. You told me to go get the girl, now you took her away from me. You know?
Damon's gonna work his magic with Stefan and Alaric for Elena.
well, then
before
do
he-
you think? I mean, I don't think Alaric's gonna do it.
I don't think
I
he
don't
will,
either,
but I
and so
think
that's why
Damon's going to go to him,
I
though.
really think it's gonna be good of that when he does, like he goes to see her and like wants that love moment, like a romance and all of that, and she's like, no. He's gonna win her over all over again.
Well, Alaric's gonna be stuck between a rock and a hard place because
Absolutely.
Damon is his best friend, but
Right.
then Elena's like kind of his daughter. So
Right, totally.
that
It's gonna be good.
It is going to be so good. All right, now we have some YouTube shout outs. There is a list going on. Thank you all so much for tuning in live.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, top of the list, Forever Johnny Boy. We love you. We got Jenna Powell, Gina Angela, I love it. Just Jesse, Selena W, Lisbeth Flores, and Jayla Vincent. Thank you all so much for tuning in live. And get your friends, keep telling them and spreading the word about the Vampire Diaries After Show. We're here every Thursday. And also, while you're on YouTube right now, go ahead and click the subscribe button to theStream.tv's YouTube channel, because as you saw in our commercial break, there are so many after shows and more after shows that are coming that you are gonna love. So thank you for tuning in tonight. We love you all. Anything else you lovely ladies want to add?
Happy Halloween.
I cannot wait for the rest of the season. It's gonna be so good.
It's so exciting. Have a safe Halloween, everybody. And next week, we will find out what's going to happen with Elena and Damon. Until then, my lovely vampires, see you later.
Bye.